Aurane Waters is a bit of an enigma. Throughout Feast, he serves as master of ships for King Tommen Baratheon at the request of the Queen Regent, Cersei Lannister. He receives funds to construct a new royal fleet to replace the ships lost at the Battle of the Blackwater.
Pot of greed! What does it do?
But then he flees King's Landing with the ships after Cersei is arrested by the Faith. What exactly is Aurane doing? And where is he gone with his new royal warships? Let's take a closer look at the enigmatic Aurane Waters. Aurane is a bastard of House Velaryon, an ancient Valyrian house who settled in Blackwater Bay before even the Targaryens did. Aurane's half-brother, Montford Velaryon, is the master of Driftmark, but Montford burns with his ship while fighting for Stannis in the Battle of the Blackwater, and his son Monterys Velaryon succeeds him at 6 years old.
And here's some sources. You guys want some sources for all that stuff I just said? Yeah.
Aurane himself was captured in the battle. Oops! And bends the knee to Joffrey shortly after. We don't see him at all between his brief first appearance in A Clash of Kings and Tommen's wedding in A Feast for Crows, but it's decently logical to assume he was simply at court in King's Landing during this time. The entirety of our exposure to Aurane's character is through Cersei's point of view. Cersei finds Aurane dashing and witty and is obviously attracted to him. She initially thinks he closely resembles Rhaegar Targaryen, with whom she was once extremely infatuated, though she soon reconsiders the resemblance.
And yeah, I don't see it either.
Being young, a bastard, a recent follower of a rebellious cause, and shown to have flimsy loyalties, nobody in their right mind would give this man power and appoint him to the small council, especially given the obvious choice of Paxter Redwine for Master of Ships. But luckily for Aurane, Cersei has long since vacated her right mind, so he finds himself as King Tommen's Grand Admiral, mainly by virtue of the Queen Regent wanting to bang him. The first thing Aurane does in his new position is convince Cersei to let him construct 10 new Dromonds to replace the fleet destroyed at the Blackwater. Waters also takes advantage of Cersei's opinion of Jon Snow and the Night's Watch in convincing her to let him man the new ships with poachers and thieves who would otherwise be sent to the wall, criminals of unproven loyalties. Grand Maester Pycelle argues this move, saying that men of experience should captain the fleet, veterans of the Blackwater. Any reasonable person would side with Pycelle, so Cersei naturally sides with Aurane. These are no ordinary ships. The flagship, Lord Tywin, sports twice as many oars as the previous flagship, King Robert's Hammer. The Hammer had 400 oars, which puts Lord Tywin at a monstrous 800 oars. To put this in a real-world perspective, the largest Dromons of the Byzantine navy held 200 oarsmen, and they were 40 meters long. To put it in an ice and fire perspective, Iron Islander longships have between 40 and 80 oarsmen. Sweet Cersei is apparently equal in size to the Hammer, and though we don't hear any specifics about the other 8 ships, we can probably assume that they're equal to or smaller than Sweet Cersei. In any case, Waters' ships are unreasonably huge. By manning them with poachers and thieves, Aurane evades the risk of any of his men being loyal to Cersei, or anyone else for that matter. It's likely he's bought their loyalty for himself. So, Aurane has acquired a new fleet of enormous warships and a vast crew of men loyal to his purse. Where's he going with them? Well, the obvious answer is piracy.
Let's all do a pirate errand!
In A Feast for Crows, the only clue we get as to Aurane's destination is Qyburn telling an imprisoned Cersei that Pycelle believes that Aurane is sailing to the Stepstones to set himself up as a pirate, which is not very compelling evidence, being an uncorroborated report from Qyburn on what Pycelle thinks is going on. However, in a sample chapter from The Winds of Winter, Valina Toland makes a passing mention of a pirate king while describing the situation around the Sea of Dawn to Ariana Martell. A new pirate king has set up on Torturer's Deep. The Lord of the Waters, he styles himself. This one has real warships, 3-deckers, monstrous large. So there's a new pirate king in town with gigantic warships. Aurane seems to be the prime candidate for this pirate, although it seems as though it could be anyone with enough gold to buy some warships. It could even be some random bloke we've never even heard of yet. That is, until you consider that title, Lord of the Waters. In addition to being Master of Driftmark, the head of House Velaryon also holds the title Lord of the Tides. When you consider that Aurane is a witty kind of guy, it's extremely plausible that this title is a pun on his house's title and his Crownlander bastard name. It now seems pretty certain that this new Pirate King is Aurane Waters. Case closed, right? He conned Cersei into letting him build a new fleet of insanely large ships, and he's a pirate now. Yaha, fiddle-dee-dee.
You are a pirate!
Well, not quite. While we can deduce that Aurane is this pirate lord, there could be more to it than that. There are hints that he has allegiances elsewhere, and he's used the position of Grand Admiral and now Pirate King to gain power to accomplish something. There are a number of possible candidates for Aurane's loyalty if you read between the lines. Most obviously, he could be working to restore Valyrian rule of Westeros. House Velaryon is one of the few houses from Valyria that settled around Blackwater Bay before the Doom. These Valyrian houses maintained close ties over the following centuries. Velaryons often sat the Small Council or married Targaryens, and the Celtigars also exist. Aegon the Conqueror's mother was a Velaryon, as was King Aenys' wife. These intermarriages continued long into the Targaryen dynasty, but the last seems to have been between King Aegon III and Daenerys Velaryon, and Alan Velaryon and Baela Targaryen. Needless to say, the Targaryen and Velaryon family trees grew up next to each other, and they have connecting branches all the way up, even though that's not how trees work. Aurane himself certainly has a drop of Targaryen blood in his veins. Both Daemon and Aethan Velaryon served as the Conqueror's Master of Ships, and Corlys Velaryon was the first Lord Commander of the Kingsguard. The Master of Ships title was held by Velaryons so frequently that it began to seem hereditary, and let's not forget the exploits of the Sea Snake either and the influence he had on the Dance of the Dragons. Even the last Targaryen king had a Velaryon on his council. It was said that the Velaryons ruled the seas with their ships, as the Targaryens ruled the skies with their dragons. Being sworn to Dragonstone, House Velaryon presumably fought for the Mad King in Robert's Rebellion, though there's nothing in print about this. Given their intense historic relationship, it makes sense for House Velaryon to ally with another Targaryen in a war for the throne. It stands to reason that Lord Waters could be accruing power to aid either Daenerys or Aegon Targaryen in conquering Westeros. So make sure you join me in part 2, where we'll delve deep into Aurane's Valyrian connections. Hey, thanks for watching. I know this one wasn't in quite the same style as the first one, but I thought it was worth establishing the facts before diving into speculation. And trust me, there's some truly juicy speculation heading your way. If you don't want to miss it, leave your email address in the comments below and I'll send a pizza roll to your web zone when it comes out. Cheers. Oh, fuck me.